Hi, welcome to Cooder's Voice. Now, since you are watching this video, probably you are in a similar situation like me. I have multiple computing devices in my home, like desktops, laptops, iPhone, iPads, and they are in different rooms. So if I want to share data, I have to use some portable disks, like this hard disk or like this thumb drive. Now, of course, I can use some cloud account like a Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. However, I still need to log into this account each time. Also, a free cloud account usually has a quota. So if you have a large amount of data, you have to pay. So if you are in a similar situation, the best solution is probably to set up a NAS or network attached storage. Now in this video, I'll show you how to install and set up TrueNAS at a home server. So you can store, share, and protect your data at a single place. Now this video has three parts. Now first I will give a very brief introduction to TrueNAS. Now then I will show you how to install it. And then I will do some basic configuration so you can access and share the same data from different computing devices. Now let's get started. Now first, what is the TrueNAS? Now TrueNAS is probably the most popular open source network attached storage operating system or NAS today. Now there are three different editions of TrueNAS. Now they are being used by millions of homes, small offices, and enterprises nowadays. Now these different editions are suitable for different users and different situations. Now the TrueNAS Core is good for personal use or small office. Now TrueNAS Scale is a good option for running applications or containers. For example, if you want to run Docker and Kubernetes, you should select TrueNAS Scale. Now, TrueNAS Enterprise, as the name suggests, is for enterprise. That is for mission-critical enterprise-scale data storage and sharing. In this video, I will show you how to install and set up TrueNAS Core, that is the edition for personal use or small office. Now, before you install the TrueNAS, now first let's take a look at the minimum hardware requirement. To install TrueNAS, you need at least 8 GB of memory and at least 16 GB or booting disk, and at least one hard disk for the data storage. Also, the system needs to be hardware connected to the network. That is, you cannot access the TrueNAS server directly through Wi-Fi. TrueNAS is the operating system, so it can be installed on either on a bare metal system or on a virtual machine. However, it's highly recommended to install it on a bare metal system, just like you install a new OS on a bare metal system. This is because the TrueNAS needs to control the hardware, such as the CPU and memory directly. So if you install in a virtual machine, and it may affect the performance. And the TrueNAS Core must be installed on a separate disk. That is, you cannot share the same disk that the TrueNAS is installed on with other applications. Now, this also means that in addition to the disk that the TrueNAS OS is installed on, you have to have at least one more disk for data storage. However, for data redundancy and reliability, it is highly recommended you add more than one disk for data. Because for a single data disk, and if it fails, you will lose everything, you are done. I will talk a little bit more on this point when I talk about the installation and setup. Now, with all this information, it's time to see my system on hand now. Here I have a Dell computer, and I have two SSD disks. Now, one with a small capacity is 128 gigabytes, and the other one is 1 terabyte. So I will install the TrueNAS OS on this small capacity SSD, and the 1 terabyte one will be used as a storage pool for the data storage. Also, I have an Ethernet cable here and connected to the network. However, one point to make about this Ethernet connection. Now, like I just said, the TrueNAS cannot be accessed or connected directly through Wi-Fi. That also means that you have to connect this system to your router or switch. However, there is a solution that I can walk around this point, just like what I did here. I have an Ethernet cable here. However, my router is in another room. So I don't want to put this system just beside the router in another room. I want to put the system here. What I did is that I got a Wi-Fi repeater or Wi-Fi extender. You can see here. So I have this is the Wi-Fi repeater. So there's an Ethernet port at the bottom. So this Ethernet cable is connected to this system, and also I plug this into this extender. So this will cheat the system and make it think that it's hardware connected to the network. It even doesn't know that it's actually is connected to the router and through Wi-Fi. So if you don't want to connect the system directly to the router, you can get a Wi-Fi repeater, and you just plug this cable into it. Now, with the hardware ready, it's time to install the software. Now, in order to install the software, first you need to get the software. You can go to the TrueNAS website, go to this page, and click download the TrueNAS Core, and then scroll down. You need to have an account in order to download it. I already have signed up, so I will just click this link. No, thank you. I already signed up, so click it, and then I can just click this download link to download it. I already downloaded it, so it's here. Now, once you get this ISO file, you need to burn it into a booting disk. You can either make it a USB booting disk or you burn it into a CD. Now, in order to make this booting disk, you need another software called the Balena Etcher or Etcher. You can also use the popular Rufus to make this booting disk. So I will use this Balena here. So depending on your system, you should download the right version. Because I'm using a MacBook now, so I will download this version. Also, I already downloaded it. It's here, so this one. So once you get the ISO file and the etcher, and you can make the booting disk. So I will install the etcher first. So double click it and then drag it to application. Okay, then I can start the etcher. Click it. Close this one. Open. Flash from file. And go to downloads to select this ISO file, TrueNAS, click open, and select the target. Now here, the PNY, click this PNY thumb drive, and then just flash. Password. Allow. Now it will take about 1 to 2 minutes to finish. Now the booting disk is ready. Next, I will use this booting disk to install the TrueNAS OS. Close it. Now I will plug in this thumb drive into the system. Then start the system. Because I didn't set the recording resolution correctly, so the recording is a little bit blurry. However, the installation is pretty straightforward. You just follow the instructions on the screen and make a couple of selections. Then the installation will be done. Select the first option, install or upgrade, click OK. And select the disk. I will install on the smaller one, click OK. Fresh install or upgrade, and I will do a fresh install. So select a fresh install. Format the disk or not, and I already formatted, so just install. Click OK. And I enter the password. Click OK. Then the system will reboot. And remember to remove the installation thumb drive before rebooting. Now the TrueNAS Core is installed successfully. This is the default IP address that I can use to access the TrueNAS Core storage. If you want to make some changes, and you can select the option here in this menu. For example, if I want to change the default IP address, I can select one to make the changes. However, I will just use this default IP address for now. And once I have this IP address, and I can access the TrueNAS Core storage through a web page. So now I will go to open a new web page and I enter the IP address and use the username root and I enter the password I created. Log in. Once you log in, you will see the dashboard of the TrueNAS server. It will show the system information, the CPU, the memory, and the network interface, etc. And the left pane, this is the configuration area. You can see there are many sections, and you can configure the TrueNAS Core according to different functionalities. There's a lot of sections here. And the detailed configuration of TrueNAS Core will take a whole course, so I will not do that in this video. I will only show you some basic configurations so you can share and store data on the TrueNAS Core just installed. Now, the first step for the setup is to create a storage pool. So go to the storage and click on the pool and click add and create a pool. I'll give it a name. I will use a very classical name, tank. And then I added create the virtual device or VDEV. I have only a single disk, so I will select this one and add it to this virtual device. Click it. Now, because I have only a single disk for storage pool, so I have only one option for the setup of this pool, that is a strap. However, you are highly discouraged to do like what I'm doing here, because I have only a single disk. If this single disk fails, everything will be lost. Just like this warning message says, a strap data VDEV is highly discouraged and will result in data loss if it fails. So you are strongly recommended to add at least 2 disks for data storage. But I have only 1 disk for now, so I will configure with a single disk anyway. So I click on force, click on confirm, and continue, and then create. Data will be erased. Click on confirm, create a pool. Okay, now the storage pool is created. The next is to add a data site to this pool. So click this 3 dot, and I click add data site. Give this data site a name. I will use the CV data. Click submit. Now a data site is created. Before I proceed, here is some explanation to some terms. If you are new to TrueNAS, some terms may sound confusing. For example, what is the storage pool? What is the data site or sub-data site? What is the VDEV or virtual device, etc. Now, I will use an analogy here. A storage pool is like a farm. You get a farm, a piece of land, and you want to build some warehouses on this farmland. And within a warehouse, and you want to create some segmentation and create some separate storage spaces. Now here, the farm is the storage pool, the data site is the warehouse, and the segmentations within a warehouse are the sub-data sites. However, through the network, this data site and a sub-data site, or warehouse and segmentations, are just showing as folders and subfolders, or directories and subdirectories. You may set different access permissions to specific users to access these specific data sites. For example, I want to create some separate storage spaces for different purposes. So I will create some sub-data sites within this CV data site. For example, now select this CV data site and click this 3 dots, click add data site. So I get a name. This sub-data site and I will use for example, for tutorial. courses. So I will give it a name, CVCO courses, and then click the submit. And now a subdata site is created. Next, I will create a user so I can give a permission to this user to access this subdata site just created. So I will go to account and I click user and click add. I'll give a full name here and the username. It has suggested the username. I will use this one. If you want, you can put your email. Give a password. So I will use my own password. Click submit. Here the password and now. Okay, now a user with this username is created. Next, I will add this user to the dataset. So this user can have the permission to access the dataset. So go to storage again, go to pool, CV course, and click this dot. Click edit permissions, apply to user, apply group. Here also you need to select this user and click save, and all the user is added to this dataset. Now I have created the dataset and the user. I also assigned this user to a specific dataset. Next, I need to enable some special network service so I can access the dataset through the network. So to do that, I go to sharing. Now here, the sharing services are organized by file protocols. For example, if you want to access from an Apple device, you need to enable this Apple shares or AFP. If you use Windows, you need to enable the SMB. However, because the dataset sharing is enabled by file access protocols, now this means that once you enable some file access protocol here, all devices that use this protocol will be able to access the TrueNAS storage through the network, and you don't have to enable the services separately here. Now I will use an example to show this point. Because I'm using a MacBook now, so I will enable this Apple Share or the AFP. So I will click it, and I will click Add. Now here it said that beginning in 2013, Apple began using the SMB sharing protocol as the default option for file sharing, and it don't use the AFP anymore. So it's recommended to use the SMB sharing. So I will click this, create an SMB share, select this path, select this folder, and then click submit. Enable the service when the TrueNAS started. Yes, enable service. Okay, the SMB service has been enabled. Close it. Then I need to configure the ACL. Now the ACL is the access control list. So this is just like a firewall and to control if there's any connection request from the network or whether this service will allow this connection or not. So click configure now, and I will use this default option, select a preset ACL, click it. I use restricted, and then click continue, and then click apply to user, apply to group, and I click save. Now the data sets are created. The permission is given to a specific user for this data site, and also in the sharing, the network access protocol service is enabled. So everything is ready. So I should be able to access this data site through network now. So go to Finder, and you may see that the TrueNAS is already showing here. And I click it. It says the connection failed because the access list is set as restricted. So I needed the username and a password. So connect as use the name is the username is the GFNG and a password. Put the password, connect. Okay, now the CV course dataset. And you may notice that because I set the permission only to this subfolder, this folder. So this user can only access this folder. He cannot see the upper level folder, this CV data. So you can see that you can control the access to these folders in a hierarchical order separately. Now here is the point. Because I actually enabled the SMB service in this Apple Share setup, I didn't use the AFP or Apple File Protocol. And this Windows Service Shares also use SMB protocol. So I don't need to set up Windows Share again. My Windows machine will be able to map this TrueNAS datasite directly. Now I'm on Windows machine and I'm trying to map a network drive to the datasite on the TrueNAS Core server. So right-click this network, click Map Network Drive. Now put the IP address of the TrueNAS Core. And then click Browse. Okay, click it. Put the username. Here I have GFNG, password. Okay, now the CV course is visible now. Okay, now the CV course, the datasite is mapped at the network drive Z here on my Windows machine. You may see that I didn't enable this Windows Share SMB on this TrueNAS server. Now, because I already enabled the SMB in this setup of the Apple Shares, so on this Windows machine, and I can access to this datasite CV course directly. Now, because the Windows machine also uses the SMB file access protocol. Now, I will do a testing. I will go to the CV course folder on my MacBook. I can put some files in this folder. For example, I'll use this one, drag it here, and I will drag it here. Okay, and then on my Windows machine, it appears immediately here. And now I can store and share data at a single place within my home network. TrueNAS Core is easy to install, but is powerful for data storage and sharing. Also, it's totally free. So if you need a home file server, just go for it. I hope this video helps. Thanks for watching and see you next time.